Hello everyone. It's James again. And today I want to talk about something very important. But before I do, I want to say thank you all for your support. I see the comments. And if I haven't replied to you yet, I want to let you know. I do appreciate you being a part of this channel. And actually one of the recent comments on my last video sparked a thought for me to do a video about trust. Healthy trust after one has been narcissistically abused again and again and again and again. Because you see, that's part of the goal for the narcissist. All of the narcissists in your life really. They want you to lose that innocent ability to trust. But here's the thing. Though God is really the only one we should trust, He did put us here together to develop trust and love so we can have healthy, happy relationships. And to be fruitful and multiply. And as I was thinking about all of that, I accidentally came across this news story, which in a strange way relates to this topic of trust. And though it does, I will do another video just breaking down trust and a lot of evils in society that have purposely turned people into not being able to trust one another. But why it's important if you can to still live your life, but with boundaries. And if you can find someone to have as a part of your life, they have to understand that things are going to go at a slow pace as far as trust is concerned. Because even though a narcissist can do a long con on you, like we talked about yesterday in my last video, and as I've mentioned over the many years on this channel, if things are going to slow for the narcissist, meaning they feel like they aren't getting any traction with you, they will likely abandon ship. Because you see, they can see that spark in your eye. They can tell when you are on cloud nine. And they can see when and where you blindly trust them. And that's usually when they see you are a good prey item to pull the long con with. Now they can truly play the long con on anyone. But they usually will do this tactic with someone they feel is buying their BS. But what does trust have to do with today's video and news story? Well, a former judge, Sonia Mcnite, will be sentenced in May for taking a weapon that goes pew pew bang bang, and firing it at the head of her boyfriend that was sleeping. Nope. It wasn't self-defense. And no, it wasn't a battered woman that simply had to wait until her abusive boyfriend was asleep to finally set herself free. But instead of all of that, it appeared their relationship was coming to an end. And he no longer wanted to be with her and told her he wanted her to move out of his home. And she didn't like that. So she took out her weapon when he was asleep and fired at his head. Now before we talk about trust, and it will tie into the story in a moment, I first want to talk about how the narcissist only gets worse with time. And it's not just age that does it. It's something I've mentioned before. It's what they see as successes. You see, this woman has likely been this evil most of her life. And she knows exactly who and what she is. But yet she was able to become a judge, having the power to rule over others' affairs and lives. Some of these people were likely men that had to stand in front of her. And this fact is very important. Because you see, she has a history of this pew pew bang bang activity. A handful of years ago, she invited another ex over to help her move furniture. And she took out her weapon that goes pew pew and bang bang and fired at him. You can't make this stuff up, people. You just can't. But here's the thing. She got off scot-free. How did she get off scot-free? Because she said it was self-defense. And why was she likely believed? Because not only is she a judge, or was a judge, but she's a woman. And we've talked about narcissist women before on this channel. And it seems some people refuse to understand. Though men and women can be narcissists at the same rate, society protects female narcissists with false talking points that paint women as being abused and better caregivers and nurturers. Even though there is one story after another back to back to back to back to back, showing women doing the same evil crimes that men do. Yet the talking heads of society still run with the same narrative of that women are victims and men are aggressors. And the reason why they do that is because they do not want the problem fixed. Because if you never correctly identify the problem, how can you even fix it? Look, if you ask the average man, if a woman starts shouting and getting angry with him, what's his biggest fear regarding the situation? And they will likely say the police showing up and getting blamed for abuse when he's doing nothing wrong. You see, most men literally fear breaking up with a woman. Because they know if she's not happy with this rejection, she can accuse him of SA. Which happens all of the time. There are tons of news stories regarding these false reports. Or they will get hurt like this man that was fired upon in the head and lived to tell about it. Because you see, no matter the narcissist be a man or woman, the more they are successful with their scams, manipulations and lies, the more they will push the envelope. And as I've said for years, this is where the narcissist starts to take on the traits of the psychopath. As they start to lose their impulse control. Because most psychopaths, not all but most, have an impulse control problem. That's why a great many of them are in prison or end up there early on in life. But narcissists are known to be more self-preserving. They do some evil, vile things. But they might shy away from taking someone's life. Because they know what the consequences will be. But I believe this over time gets skewed or blurred. Simply because this narcissist has become too successful with getting over with their lies and manipulation. And this breeds a feeling of being untouchable and like having what they call a God complex. And before you know it, they might lose control over their impulses. And why should they not give in to them? Because in their mind, they will just get away with it just like they did everything else. And when we are talking about female narcissists, they know they can claim self-defense, or SA, or a great number of things. And the sad part is, this takes away from those women that are real victims. But the problem is, the puppet masters of society won't admit the truth. That most men and women can be stuck in this abusive washing machine. Afraid to leave and could lose their life as a result. And it was said she got into trouble as well regarding a traffic incident regarding her son. And I don't know the details on that. But I wouldn't be shocked if she didn't pull the I'm a judge card to get her son out of trouble. I could be wrong. But I wouldn't be shocked. Because you have to ask yourself, how many times has she done that? I mean, she doesn't look that young. So if she's been this evil most of her life, how many people's lives has this woman ruined? And it appears to me she likes taking her weapon and going bang bang pew pew to men. Yes. There are women that literally hate men. But they will hide behind their power as a judge. Or some other high up figure and totally destroy men's lives. And something to think about. This is what feminists were fighting for. Because there are hashtags out there saying, delete all men. And radical evil women talking openly on big platforms regarding how they would like to delete as many men as possible and how they would like to make it legal to do so. Well, I have news for you. How feminists were trying to go about it was to say that all encounters between men and women would always be seen as the women in the victim role, justified always in her actions, and the man in the abuser role. No exceptions. So if a girlfriend or wife was told no or was broken up with, and she lost control of herself, and took out her weapon and went pew pew bang bang, no one would be the wiser and it would be all swept under the rug. And it's this evil narrative that has been going on for decade after decade that has emboldened women like Sonia Mcnite to make her believe she was above the law. Because in her mind she was the law. A narcissist woman that could tell others what to do and what their fate was. And before she was taking out weapons going pew pew and bang bang with them. Do you think she ever struck a man before with her fists or other things? I would be shocked if it never happened. But one bad action likely empowered her to do another bad action and another. But how does all of this come down to trust? Well, in the news clip of this story I will leave in the box below for you to watch. One of the people reporting on this news story talked about not rushing into things too quickly and moving people into your home. You see. Yes. Narcissists can do the long con. But they can get bored of you too if you aren't giving them the supply they need. Meaning they show up at your home needing to move in for this emergency or that emergency. These are big red flags. You see. There was a time when people many years ago used to meet when they were kids and when they grew up would start dating one another and then get married. It's the fact is they got to know each other a great many years way before they even thought about dating. So they knew each other's character. Now, people barely know who one another is before they are moving in and committing to high-stake agreements. If someone likes you or values you, they will take their time. And if done right, narcissists will oftentimes get bored and will no longer see it as beneficial at wasting their time to try a long con with you. Simply put, these reporters are saying the same thing we've been talking about for years. Slow things down. You can greatly like someone, and really enjoy your time with them, and even feel like you are over time falling in love with them. But a healthy-minded person will recheck in with themselves and what is happening over and over and over again along the way. Not in a weird second-guessing way, but in a way to take stock of what is actually happening. And this taking stock of what is happening can and will allow a person to slow things down if they deem them to be moving fast. It will allow them to see the red flags if there are any. And I'm pretty sure with this woman Sonia Mcnite, there were red flags all over the place. But if he was love-bombed, he might have given her chance after chance after chance, until he finally said no more. Heck, he might have watched videos on narcissism and said to himself, I have to get her out. But as I've talked about, no matter if you are a man or woman, get out safely. Ask for help if you need to. And I think a step in the right direction will be society acknowledging that men and women are capable of this evil and that men and women need the same kind of help. Because God was with this man and spared his life. It even says in the Bible that a man is better off living on a rooftop than in a home with a quarrelsome wife. And I believe it's safe to say God knows what he's talking about. With that said, both men and women out there, be careful. Be careful. With that said, I do hope your day is blessed. And until next time, bye for now. And be good to yourself.